After President Trump's bellicose speech last night, the price of oil spiked. So did the price of natural gas outside the U.S. As long as the Straits of Hormuz stay closed, the rest of the world will be starved for gas, and the best way to get it is to build more liquefied natural gas export infrastructure here in the United States. Which brings me to Oneok, a pipeline play with roughly 60,000 miles of infrastructure for moving natural gas liquids, refined products. These guys have a deep backlog of projects coming online over the next few years, could bolster the company's growth, even as they expect 2026 to be more or less flat, but we have to see whether that's still the case. This company's paying a 4.85% yield. So is this stock worth buying in a world where American natural gas exports have become a lot more important? And there's so much to talk about here. Let's check in with Norton II. He's the president and CEO of Oneok to find out how things are going. Mr. Norton, welcome to Mad Money.
Thank you, Jim. Glad to be here.
Okay, now there are two Oneoks. When you reported last, the oil price was much lower. Natural gas seemed pretty much the same. And now everything's elevated. Now, I don't want to get too ahead of myself because I know that you are not a price story, so to speak. You're a volume story. But at these prices, aren't all the producers anxious to bring more to the market? And can they do it without you?
Well, the answer is, can they do it without us? And the answer is no. We're what we call the invisible transportation area because you can't see it. You mentioned that we had 60,000 miles of pipe. That's true. But we also have gathering and processing. We have natural gas liquids. We have natural gas pipelines. We've got storage in both of those areas. We've got an LPG dock that we're doing. So we actually take the product from where it actually doesn't have a whole lot of value. Right. We actually increase the value, and then we bring it to an area where there is significant value to the end users.
Now, the previous quarter, a lot of people felt, well, hold on, wait a second, it didn't give them the upside, but you certainly said, look, don't worry about it, 2027 is going to be terrific. But can you pull forward some of that because of what's happened in the world?
Well, the answer is yes, and the reason is because we do have a little bit of commodity exposure, so this price increase is going to help us a little bit. But we're focused on the long term. So the long term, I think the world is seeing what's happening today is that the most expensive form of energy is the energy that does not show up. So I think there's going to be people that are actually going to look at this, and they're going to relook at where they're sourcing their supply. So I think that's going to mean well for the LPG market, the LNG market, and also the oil market. So let me give you an example on the LNG. LNG is going to be going to 30 BCF by 2030.
Right.
That's an additional 12 BCF a day. That's going to come with a lot of liquids. We are poised to provide the services for that because we already have a lot of our assets already built, and we're building even more.
All right, so explain to people who aren't that familiar what the liquids are and why they are in such demand.
Okay. Natural gas, when it comes out of the ground, it's in raw form. People see the natural gas and they think, oh, that's what you burn in your house.
Right.
It's not. It actually has propane, isobutane, normobutanes, pentanes, all of these different tanes in it. So all those have value, but we have to do what we do, which is to gather it, to process it, and to transport it in order to create the true value of the value stream.
And some of them have really spiked, right? I mean, some of the prices in the last few weeks have been crazy.
They have really spiked with what's going on over in the Middle East.
So when you listen to the president last night, or you think about our situation, we know that we are continental self-sufficient. Sometimes that gets confused with domestic self-sufficient. Right. Has there been a kind of lid on things because people just said, you know what, it's never really going to go up? And is there a little natural gas, which would be good for our country, but maybe not be good for some of your clients?
Well, I think a lot of the areas that we're in, they're drilling for oil.
Right.
So they actually are drilling more for the oil price. And the natural gas price was something that they didn't pay a whole lot of attention to. But now that we're having the LNG market, you're going to have some extra prices on the LNG side that transfers back to the natural gas side and also will transfer back to the crude oil side. So there's a good chance that actually crude oil is actually going to continue to grow in this country.
Well, let's talk about Bakken, for instance. There were some people who were disappointed with Bakken numbers, but the price was down. I mean, I got to believe Bakken's going crazy now if I were there.
Well, there's still 5,000 wells to be drilled up there in the Bakken.
That's huge.
Yeah, absolutely, it's huge. And we've got producers up there that are really poised and ready to do that. In fact, we've actually been talking to producers here recently that have told us that they actually are going to increase their drilling plans here in the near future.
That's great. Now, last night, the president said some things. Sometimes the president's given to hyperbole, where he talked about how we want you to buy come over here and buy our oil. In truth, we don't really have all that much spare oil, do we, to have other people buy it?
We've moved about 4 million barrels of oil offshore, and it's mainly our light sweet crude.
Right.
And if you look at where that goes to, then most of those people are getting their other oil that they need actually from the Middle East. So if that's constrained, there's a good opportunity for the United States to do that. That's going to mean more oil from the Bakken, more oil from the Cherokee and the Mid-Continent area, and more oil in the Permian Basin.
Well, that is a gigantic boom for the United States. So the president's basically outlining something, because we don't have enough refining capacity for that kind of lighter crude.
Right.
I mean, this could be a huge windfall for our producers, and the foreigners will be paying it, so to speak. I just remember during the Jimmy Carter days, we had to worry about windfall profits. It's not like that. They've done the work, and if they have to get it from us, why not?
Right, absolutely. I think you're going to see our, going into this, we thought maybe that the crude oil would be flat for several years at 3.5 million barrels a day, but we really can see maybe the 14 to maybe 15 million barrels a day. And it's going to be driven by what's going on in the world, but also the additional need for natural gas to supply AI data centers and LNG.
Right. Now, that is something you're very actively involved with the data centers. Now, are you working directly with the hyperscalers? You work with companies that are the electric companies that give them the electricity?
Short answer is both.
Both?
Both, absolutely both. We're also working with the developers. But at the end of the day, it's all about the quality of their credit, and we're going to work with those credit qualities. That actually ends up giving us an opportunity to do what we do best, I think, which is capital allocation, which is continue to invest in our high return growth projects, raise our dividends, pay down our debt, and possibly even buy back shares.
Well, you have paid down a lot of debt in the last year. Your balance sheet's looking great. I'm actually hoping for more deals.
Well, that's exactly what we're looking for.
And one last thing, you mentioned 14, 15. How come people always told me we had already maxed out? You've had a better outlook than everybody.
Well, I don't know that I had a better outlook, Jim. I'm just saying that the world has changed. Right. And I think with this world change, I think you're going to see some differences.
The world has changed. Wow. Even since the last quarter's reported. Yeah. Amazing. And the company that I think can take advantage of it more than anyone is your company.
Well, one thing I would like to say, we have 6,000 employees, and they know what their purpose is. And they get up every day, 24/7, and they actually get out there to make sure that we improve our quality of life. It's essential. It's essential to our economy, and it's essential to national security.
Well said. Thank you so much for being on the show.
You're welcome.
That's Piers Norton, President and CEO of Oneok. Guys, if you check with How to Make Money in Any Market, my book, top flight idea, I suggest that you buy it. That money's back in.